Hardy, I have known you since you were a boy. So I think I have the requisite experience and insight to aver that you are and always have been penis cancer in human form.
Hey guys, Brandon here, and I want to talk about my boy, Paul Giamatti. So let's take a look at some of his earliest roles, his biggest roles, and some of my personal favorites. If you're new to this channel, just like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. And as always, thank you for watching. Paul Giamatti had enjoyed acting from the time he was in high school, but never thought he could make a career out of it. Even when he went to Yale Drama School, he had a backup plan. If he can't get work acting, he would at least have a degree in acting and could teach it if he wanted to. Luckily, he never got the chance, because he was getting work right out of the gate. One of Paul's first film roles came when he was just 24 years old in Past Midnight. He played a ranch hand with an intellectual disability, offering crucial information on a homicide case.
Well, he was older. He was bigger. Well, I don't remember too good.
So I know in my brain that he's 11 years younger than me here, but why is it so hard to see Paul Giamatti as anything other than 47 years old? Also, fun note here, in an interview for SAG-AFTRA, Paul remembers being completely clueless on this film set, like still learning the ropes.
I remember people being like, you know, your eyeline's over here. I was like, yeah, of course, I know that. Of course, my eyeline's over there. I had no idea what they were talking about. And the mark and everything, and they were like, you get your marks? I'm like, no, I know, take it easy, I know, I'm just working here. You know, you shot sort of master shots, and then you're a little closer and all that stuff, and then 2 shots. I was like, oh, this is a piece of cake. And then the thing comes in for close-up, and I remember being like, whoa. I just like, that thing is really close. And I was like, and where's the woman? And she's behind the camera. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And it took me a long time to get used to that.
Although he's apparently baffled at the idea that he never got a Law & Order episode, he did appear in an episode of NYPD Blue as Man in Sleeping Bag. You know, he's not in a sleeping bag, but he's so good that I believed he was in a sleeping bag.
Got any cigarettes?
And in addition to bit parts in Woody Allen films like Mighty Aphrodite and Deconstructing Harry, he starred as a doctor in the point-and-click mystery, thriller, horror, whatever you want to consider this PC game, Ripper.
Have you seen the Ripper image? It's become much clearer. You've got to keep digging for more information Powell might have had in the Ripper.
Wait, what's that? John Rhys-Davies is in this? Ah, and Karen Allen. And this was Burgess Meredith's last role before he died? And of course, Christopher Walken was in this. I mean, you would know that if you had listened to our podcast about him called Walken 101.
Up his ass.
Oh, and Don't Fear the Reaper plays in the credits. This is amazing. Then old Paulie had a mad tear in the late 90s, starting with playing Kenny, aka Pig Vomit, a producer at
WNBC. WNBC.
Why don't
WNBC.
who consistently butts heads with shock jock Howard Stern in Private Parts.
You know what you are, Stern? You know what you are? You're the Antichrist.
What?
Yes, that's what you are. You are the motherfucking Antichrist.
He played an empathetic bellman in My Best Friend's Wedding, a World War II sergeant in Saving Private Ryan. He meticulously helped direct the life of Truman Burbank as the control room director in The Truman Show, and he was Bob Zamuda, Andy Kaufman's partner in crime in a number of comedic pranks that pretty much only made them laugh in Man on the Moon.
Yeah, sure, George, yeah. And we happen to think that it's hilarious.
What's the point? What is the point?
It's fun, George.
Then after providing support for a crucial undercover investigation in Big Mama's house,
Come on.
Yeah!
Come on now.
A little sugar on it.
Now, if you want a second helping, let me know, because I got 2 knees.
No, I'm good. God bless you.
Paul played one of my favorite characters of his in Todd Solance's offbeat comedy, Storytelling. He's essentially a loser who decides to make an exploitative documentary about high school with a stoner teenager as the focus. There was a whole scene in this movie that I did in my acting class one time, and it's just something about pathetic characters that I absolutely love, and his performance is wickedly funny.
So, you're, married?
Yeah.
Huh. Kids?
Yeah.
How many?
3.
Great. In a few years, who knows, maybe they'll want to be in my documentary.
Then, after delighting in playing an orangutan in Planet of the Apes, a legit childhood dream of his.
I was obsessed with the Planet of the Apes movies as a kid. My agents were like, don't you think you should play a human so they can see your face? And I was like, if you tell them I want to play a human in this, I'll kill you all. I was like, I'm going to play an ape.
Hey, I do the job that nobody else wants.
Paul went fabulously over the top as the main antagonist in Big Fat Liar.
Monty, I'm blue.
Oh, come on. Now, we all have our off days.
No, I mean, I'm literally... And I've got orange.
I missed the boat on this movie as a kid, but apparently this role is the one that he gets most recognized for on the street.
Oh my God!
Then came Paul's first lead role in a film, American Splendor, in which he brought to life the curmudgeonly persona and dry wit of underground comic book writer Harvey P. Carr.
Is this all a working stiff like you can expect? You gonna suffer in silence for the rest of your life, or you gonna make a mark? Huh? Huh? Huh?
And this film is a great example of Giamatti's ability to balance levels of sadness with extreme moments of rage.
What do you mean? You mean you're dumping me? For what?
Which kind of became a little bit of a common thread for several of Giamatti's roles going forward.
How's that?
Case in point, the following year, he starred as Miles, a neurotic, failed novelist and wine snob who travels with his best friend on a bachelor road trip through wine country in Sideways.
No, if anybody orders Merlot, I'm leaving. I am not drinking any f***ing Merlot!
Although deeply flawed, Giamatti was able to make this character sympathetic and redeemable.
Only somebody who really takes the time to understand Pinot's potential can then coax it into its fullest expression. And then, I mean, its flavors, they're just the most haunting and brilliant and thrilling and subtle and ancient on the planet.
And for whatever reason, the Academy of Motion Pictures and Arts and Sciences and all that good stuff neglected to nominate Paul in the leading actor category. Some consider this to be one of the greatest Oscar snubs for acting of all time, and we agree. Paul followed that up with his first Oscar-nominated performance in the biographical sports drama Cinderella Man. He played real-life figure Joe Gould, a fiercely loyal and tenacious boxing manager who will do anything to help James J. Braddock get the comeback he deserves.
Work his belly with the left. You got it? Okay. Give him the flap doodle with the right because he don't know.
Other notable projects, he cited the miniseries John Adams as one of the most difficult projects he's ever worked on. He definitely earned his Emmy because in addition to hours of makeup and prosthetics, there always seemed to be these last-minute script changes that were so massive that he pretty much developed a photographic memory from having to memorize lines under pressure.
You dream of empire, Mr. Hamilton.
You question my loyalty, sir.
Oh, no, Mr. Hamilton, I question your sanity. Now, either you are stark raving mad, or I am. Good day, sir.
Also around this time, another personal favorite of mine, he played a schlubby, depressed version of himself in the dark comedy Cold Souls, in which he decides to relieve stress and the anxieties of acting by extracting his soul from his body.
I have this throb in my stomach. I have a pain in my chest like somebody put my heart in a vice and just tightened it.
Between 2016 to 2023, Paul played the astute and ruthless prosecutor Chuck Rhodes in Billions. I haven't seen it, and I've seen enough clips of it to really like what he did, but I feel like I can't really talk about it because I haven't seen it, but it's all about money and greed and asshole hedge fund managers in New York City. If you guys like some moments from this, please recommend it to me because I only have so much time in the day. I can't watch all the shows. I can't do it.
Oh, Brian, you are many things. But there's one thing you're certainly not. An assistant United States attorney for the Southern District of New York. Drop your credentials at the guard's desk and get the out of here!
He continued to prove how shrewd and horrible he could be as a villain, whether it was the smaller role as a ruthless slave trader in 12 Years a Slave, or going full-blown Russian gangster as the Rhino in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Say hello to Alexei Sitsevich!
Or just being a jerk to a collection of musicians like Brian Wilson and NWA.
Because this is business. And this is how it works. And it's not always pretty, no.
And this brings us to Pauly G's Golden Globe-winning, Oscar-nominated performance, and maybe win, we don't know yet, we made this video before the 2024 Academy Awards, of Paul Hunham, an extremely pompous history teacher at a prep school who's forced to stay on campus over the holidays with a collection of shithead kids.
You know, Mr. Kuntz, for most people, life is like a henhouse ladder, shitty and short. You were born lucky. Maybe someday you entitled little degenerates will appreciate that. If you don't, I feel sorry for you.
Once again, Paul was able to balance this sort of sadness and loneliness with levels of arrogance and rage throughout this performance. And even through it all, thanks to Giamatti's unusual charm, you still can't help but root for this guy.
I find the world a bitter and complicated place, and it seems to feel the same way about me. I think you and I have this in common. But don't get me wrong, you have your challenges. You're erratic and belligerent and a gigantic pain in the balls, but you're not your father. You're your own man.
Obviously, there's a lot more to his career that we didn't include, like when he played Santa Claus in a Vince Vaughn Christmas movie. Paul's been around for a long time, putting in hard work in dozens of projects, and one word that I keep coming back to describe him is refreshing. And not just his characters or career, I mean just like watching him be interviewed and talk about acting. He's a joy to watch because you can tell how much he enjoys his job. It's all he ever wanted to do, and he's not only humble about it, but he even has this sort of imposter syndrome. Anyway, I kind of like what he says here at the end of the SAG-AFTRA interview.
So at this point in your career, are you still learning new things about acting?
Oh, for sure. I don't know anything about acting, so I'm all about learning what the hell is going on. I realize now I don't know anything. You know, I don't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
And it's a good place to be, you know? And it's like, but definitely acting, I'm like, man, this is a mystery to me. And so I just hopefully will get better at it.
Everybody, Brandon here, and I want to talk about the career of Paul Giamatti. Sorry there, I got a little excited about my boy Paul Giamatti.